There it
Good,
is.
good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered how to uncover what's real? Well, we promise this episode won't be a bore or a snore or a chore because, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Craig Gore. It's time to wake up for the Giants.
That was
Woo!
awesome.
Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris, co creator of Wake Up with Giants TV, a tribe of giants and 12 Journeys coaching. And I'm here with Nicholas T. Smith, the author of The Giants and the Smalls, the other co creator of Wake Up with Giants TV, a tribe of giants and 12 Journeys coaching, and a whole bunch of other cool gadgetry, as Craig said earlier.
Gadgets.
Lots of
We
gadgets.
we are about the gadgets, man.
Tell
Outside
them
of
about Tell him about. Well, yeah, and he also wrote a book right behind his noggin there. There it is, tortoise's hair.
more, the
Yep.
other ones up there, the Giants, the Art of Accomplishment, and a bunch of other unpublished.
Oh, that word hair is maybe it's a little threatening.
Oh, hey, we're in good company here.
He has no hair.
Well, we got
we like.
good.
Yeah, we like your haircut, Craig. It's amazing.
Thanks, mister.
You're welcome.
That's why you're on the
buddy.
show.
That's right. Will you tell them about some of the fancy gadgets, some of the things we have going on, Nick?
I want to show you first this new cool gadget on the screen right there, that QR code. Face your camera toward it. Just take your phone, face it toward there. It's going to take you to this amazing website here, my12journeys.com. We've incorporated a few new tools I want to show you because I am super stoked about this. I actually got this to work today. So I programmed this application for you guys, and you're going to want to jump over there and take this quiz right away. So if you're wondering what your giant archetype is right now, you go to this button, you're going to click this quiz. It's going to take you to this doodad. You'll throw in your name and email. At the end of this, it's going to generate a report based on the 12 journeys. So it's going to show you how you're doing in each of these areas and then help you to understand fully where you are in the process of becoming a giant in your world. So this is a free report. You can schedule your discovery calls there. They're also free. And you can link right back over to the program on My 12 Journeys, where you can see everything about our Sum Gigante program. So we've developed AI applications and tools to help you to grow. You can see some of those here in our SG resources. So these are only available to our clients. And so you do have to be an SG alumni to access all of these items. But these are Notebook LM modules that are AI based that help you to learn programs. I mean, when you go into these, not only do we have videos built in, but there's flashcards. There's learning modules that you can go through. You can ask questions to all of this documentation. There's one for each of the journeys. And then we've developed all of these documents to support you, as well as print materials. We have print journals, print workbooks that come with the program. It's a pretty crazy deal. And then down below, we have all of our AI applications, which I'm working on turning some of these into web-based apps so that they're accessible from anywhere. And so we just keep creating more and more stuff for you to help you to be a giant. And our goal is your identity. It's to help you rewrite the story that's keeping you small. So everything on the homepage, when you come into my12journeys.com, is designed to help you to grow. So whether you're an individual, an organization, or a coach that wants to partner with us, we have tools for all of that. You can see what the 12 journeys are about in this short video. Read some of the tributes and testimonials, see some of our partner coaches throughout here, get the books. I mean, we put everything that we can possibly put into this for you so that you can become a giant. Because our goal is not just to touch the surface stuff, but to rewrite your story into the giant that you're capable of. So how's that, Ryan? Meh, I've heard better.
If I had to explain all of that, it would take the whole show.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So
Just face your camera toward that
yeah,
QR code right there,
click the
or
freaking QR code already.
go to my12journeys.com and jump in. Yeah, we've done a lot to serve you, and we're going to do more. So we've also got over 850 uploads on YouTube from this podcast. Like, it's an insane amount. So we've been doing this a little while.
Yeah.
So should we introduce this guy that's on camera with us?
Yeah, let's add one more.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're diving into the 12 journeys, and particularly the success series of the 12 journeys. And today's topic couldn't be more essential. It's discovering your inner truth in a world full of noise, roles, and expectations. How do you actually know who you are underneath it all? So our guest today, Craig Gore, has walked the path from professional songwriter to building contractor for the wealthy. Craig has seen behind the curtains of success and found the truth that lies much deeper. He's now a mentor, coach, and author who helps others break through their illusions and drill down to what's real. His work isn't surface level, it's raw, it's honest, and it's transformational. So if you're ready to face yourself and live from a place of truth, let's dive in. So a massive welcome to Craig Gore.
Thank you so much. That's well said. Who wrote that? That was brilliant.
AI.
That's
And
good
you, dude.
stuff, man. Good stuff. Harvested that off my social media. That's
Yeah,
good
we
stuff.
harvested that
You
stuff.
did that.
I love it.
Yeah. Well,
Hi, I'm glad. Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. And you come highly recommended, and
Thanks.
we've got just an incredible audience here. Our goal is to really help the viewer to see themselves truly and what they're capable of and how to move toward that. And the purpose of the show isn't to just manage anxiety or depression or some of the heavier emotions or grief. It's really designed to help re-engineer you and your identity so that you can start to handle those things more powerfully. And I would imagine in your story, Craig, there was a point where you didn't think you were as powerful as you are today, that maybe you were programmed a little differently. Can you take us through that?
You mean yesterday?
Yeah.
It's continuous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been plenty of times. For instance, in my contracting business, can you hear me okay, fellas?
Yeah. We're just waving at the comments here.
And in my contracting business, I was a songwriter, and then I started to build my contracting business in Los Angeles. And it was super fulfilling, and I was making great money, but something was really tugging at me. And I didn't know what. And I decided arbitrarily that I just wanted to close this business, and I wanted to move from LA to my hometown of Nashville and kind of start over. Had a pretty good wad of cash like set aside for myself. And I had to, it took me about a year to close the business up, but I really didn't have a plan. I thought I was going to build another. I mean, I had sort of looked at some real estate deals and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't get myself to say yes to any of this stuff. I went to Shanghai to talk to these guys who were trying to build me a factory, and I couldn't say yes. And guys, I came home from those like sick, sick because I couldn't say yes. And I'm like, what's the matter with me?
You're like you're ready, you feel like you've got a plan, and then it's not
I
connecting. It's
can't.
not right.
That's right. It's like it's not something in, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sabotaging my whole life. Now we're talking about, we're not. We're talking about a really healthy 7, 8, even 8-figure amount of money business for my business. I said no, and I wanted to vomit. Like it was not. It wasn't this impulsive no, right? So I go home for a time, and it's like feeling not powerful at all, living on savings and trying to find out, like, what is this in me that can't say yes to the thing that I'm sort of world class at. So I spent quite a while feeling not powerful.
Mm.
And, as I got quiet
Hmm.
and I let that identity fade, which took a lot of courage and a lot of work, something new began to arise in me. And it was just like a whisper, you know, of maybe going the right direction. And it occurred to me that what I loved about contracting, I was a great builder, but what I loved was the relationships. And immediately it my life started to change direction, and people very slowly but surely started to come to me for help.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, what do you call this? So I Googled it. Turns out it's called coaching, or at least my brand of it, or
Yeah.
mentoring, or spiritual teaching, or whatever. I mean, does that answer? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
not powerful.
Look,
And I had to get really, really quiet to find out what was going to arise in me next.
I think this is where people run away. You know, when you really sit with who you are, who you've created yourself to be, the word identity comes from identical. And which totally makes sense. It's
Right.
that your inner world matches your outer world, or it doesn't, and you feel like a fraud and an imposter, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're putting on a show on the outside, and your inner
Right.
world isn't that, so you feel like you're faking it or a fraud. And so identity is trying to make the outer world identical to the inner world, and often that inner world is in conflict because we know we're capable of more, and but we don't know what that is because we've been programmed for so long that we stay stuck in our old programming, and we repeat that. And then we have a conflict of we're living all the right things on the outer world, but our inner world's now in conflict. It's like, no, I know there's more, right? Can you speak to
Indeed.
that a little bit?
Yeah. Inner world versus outer world. Is that, have I
Yeah,
got you?
yeah,
If
yeah.
I
An
understand?
identity. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, here's where it got preposterous. I'm trying to answer your question accurately. I
Yeah.
was I was on top of a mountain in Colorado skiing, and I'm like on this conference call to Paris. And my skis are stacked in the snow, and I'm walking back and forth, and oh, I'm so cool, aren't I? Talking to Paris in Aspen when I should be skiing. My girlfriend's sitting at a picnic table. She nods her head like this.
Hmm.
And, I hang up the call and I'm like, what? And she's like, honey, no. And I'm like, well, that call's what pays for these trips. And she's like, but this is vacation. So there's the is that an example of
Yeah, yeah,
conflict,
yeah.
fellas? It's like I'm there thinking that I'm being the man that I'm committed to be, but I'm not. I'm
Hmm.
strung out on work and cortisol and afraid to step away from my business. Is that an example of
Yeah,
inner and
yeah,
outer
dude,
conflict?
Yeah.
you're
And
doing
most
good.
people are feeling that.
Yeah.
You said something too that I've heard a lot over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years since I've been like kind of in the coaching sphere.
Mm-hmm.
But really in the last few weeks, more and more it's hitting for me. And I always was like, be still, be quiet, meditate, whisper, blah blah, like, okay, yeah, okay, I can sit here
Right.
quiet, whatever. When you say that, because that was actually a pivotal point, but you kind of went through it really quickly. Like as soon as I got still and got quiet and heard the whisper, then this happened. Can you speak to the stillness, to the quiet?
100% I can, but I don't want to delude you. This wasn't just one moment. This is a succession of moments that took a number of years.
I figured.
Guys, I had a fucking meltdown.
Hmm.
I mean, I spent most of my savings, um, and my relationship with my significant other ended, which is okay. It was the right thing, but still, here I am in Nashville, and the things that I was sure I was, the things I was identified with we're dying. And what I say is what dies you don't need. That's what I tell my clients. What dies you don't need.
like
But
that.
it's a very painful, or it was for me, a very painful process of stepping into a different way of orienting myself to my life. Stillness. What happens when you begin to witness your thinking and feeling, like from an observation position, and starting to investigate the one listening and the one orchestrating all of these things inside that you're so sure are true? Because what we tend to do, I don't know how much you want from me on this answer, interrupt any
Go deep.
No,
time,
Yep.
keep
but
going, please.
what we tend to do is we live in the thoughts and feelings as if they're all that's true. But when we get a little distance, we find out that we are making them true. So there's the one that we actually are. And then there's the identified self, which I call, which is like a drop down menu of thoughts and feelings and experiences that you think tend to be true. The one that you actually are is this infinite being that's bottomless and edgeless. When I step into stillness, it's that one that I'm coming from. Enough? You want some more?
It's like bottomless steak fries at Red Robin.
You're damn skippy it is.
Okay, so
With all the ketchup you want and a side of ranch if you need
yeah,
it.
I'm
Or-
in.
or-
You had
for
me at
you-
ketchup.
Yeah, for you Salt Lake City folks, it's fry sauce.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
fry sauce.
It is fry sauce, yeah. And somebody out of state is going to get it one day. They're going to try fry sauce and they're going to be like, "I've been missing out."
Keep
I'll
the fry
never go
sauce
back.
away from me,
Ketchup
please.
and mayo and pickle juice. What?
Right.
Well, let me pull this into, because with the 12 journeys framework, the first 6 journeys are all about the inner world, the journey of non-consciousness, the journey of awareness, grief, the journey of acceptance, gratitude, and empowerment. So all of those are internal, right? And so when you look at the non-conscious, that's your identity. That's your automation. So I was having a conversation yesterday. I was on a podcast and we were talking about AI and the advancement of AI. And I love using AI in what I do here. But you look at the brain, and the brain is the greatest version of that we've ever been given. It's a 3.5 pound mass. It's locked in a black box. It doesn't see, it doesn't hear, it doesn't taste it. It only interprets. That's it. And its only job is automation and efficiency. That's all it cares about. So it doesn't care what you automate. It doesn't care who you think you are. It doesn't give a shit about any of that. All it wants to do is be efficient, and it wants to help you be efficient. So you program all this stuff in that says, I am terrible. I'm a horrible person. I suck at life. And it's like, yeah, you do. Let me show you this. I'm going to make you so good at that you don't even have to think about it. Right. And then we go through our automations and we go, like you just described, the hustle culture. We get programmed with that hustle culture. I can't stop. I can't slow down. I'm being the man. And, there's a conflicting system out there that says you don't have to do that.
Right.
But we're so programmed, we think, oh, I do, because I'm measuring myself against these societal standards.
Yes, sir.
And when I don't measure up, I get anxiety because I'm not measuring up to what society told me I should be. And then we get that conflict. And really what you're diving into is coming back to when you can listen to the listener, witness, which means to view the listener, then you could start to rewrite the program. Because that listener is beyond it all. It witnesses, it sees, it generates the thoughts, it tells the brain what to program in, and it's beyond all of it. And science still can't explain consciousness. They can't find it in the brain. It's beyond it for some reason. It seems to be at a quantum level.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. What are you hearing as you hear all of that? Pull that together.
I mean, I'm agreeing. Like, it seems that we're simpatico, right? But I see. What do I want to say?
I think you're my spirit animal.
Put him up here.
I love that. I'll be your spirit animal.
Oh, sweet.
So the one that witnesses in actuality, and I know this is what you're saying, is the one that gives rise to all thoughts and
Mm.
feelings.
Yeah.
So here's what I my I think we're in agreement on definition, and
Yeah.
we're in agreement on approach. I don't take exception. I agree with what you're saying. And what I invite, for instance, my clients to do, the ones that I work with, is what happens when you stop trying to generate stuff to
Mm.
think about? What happens when you stop generating stuff to feel about? Sorry, my things are on
I
and I
I
can't
like that. That
off.
just popped up on screen. That
I'm
let's see if mine
perplexed.
does that.
Nick, can I get a consult after on how to turn all this crap off on my computer? Um, so it's like, what happens when you stop?
Yeah.
Your own wisdom will to deliver you to what is next.
Yeah.
But it's brave because you're stepping out of your conditioned mind into your actual mind. And
It's going to be uncomfortable, right?
100% it's going to be uncomfortable. I mean, the whole Bible is about this,
Yeah.
like stepping out of the idea that we are only human consciousness into an enlarged sense of being that is the truth of what we are.
Mm. Okay. The truth of who we are, going into that, because
Hit
we've
me,
been
brother.
programmed. Yeah. Society, culture, family, our own experiences tell us something other than that.
Correct.
We've been engineered, learned, indoctrinated to
Conditioned.
believe, yeah, conditioned that we need to be what society teaches us to be. And even when it comes to measures of success, we think in terms of fame or financial success. But when we look at the Giants' impact, it's about ripple. It's about your impact, your unique gifts and talents. So if we go to the Bible version of this, it's the 10 talents, right? Some are given one, some five, some 10. But it doesn't matter how many you're given. It's like those are your gifts and talents. What are you going to do with them?
Mm-hmm.
Society says bury it. Just be like us, just bury it. What we do in the Giants community, what you're doing is saying, no, let's take that and let's multiply that. Let's take what is, because you're equipped with everything that you need to be anything you can imagine. Now let's show you how to grow into that, because like you say, when you slow down and you can really hear all of the thinking that you're generating, you can start to rewrite that story. So now your new identity starts to emerge, and now that becomes identical with the outer world. And now it is identity. It is identical. But it does start with waking up internally. I heard somebody say yesterday, they called it the innerverse. So we have our universe or outer verse,
Well
and we have
said.
our innerverse, which
Yeah.
is as big,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what you discover when you really strip down to what's real. You realize there's not nothing there, there's everything there.
100% true. And it, for me, like I'm writing a book about this, and
Mm,
it's that's what this is about. Um, if you have the courage to step out of what you think you are and have the patience and the temerity to look within long enough, you'll find out what's true about you, and it will express naturally. It just
mm,
takes time and courage, you know?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Define that word temerity for me. I love it. I love new words.
Temerity is, I would call it courage. You know, it's
Yeah.
like the steadfastness to stay with it and not
Yeah.
stop. But see, a lot of people, what they'll do is like, well, I want money, or I want a relationship, or I want a better career. But life has something mm, e- even bigger in store, which
Mm,
is to purify you to the point where you understand your own nature. That's what life does. That's
mm,
what life is. You can't take the dollars with you. And you're not likely going to take this with you either. So you
mm,
better figure out what you are, the essential you. You do that, I promise you, all the other things get added into your life. Things and money come of their own accord.
Let's play here, okay? Because we're going to step
Hit me.
into the growth journey. So we've done the
Okay.
6 root journeys.
Yep.
Now the growth journeys are uncertainty, abundance, vision, surrender, and nurture, right? And then there's the final journey, which is the legacy journey. So when people do their archetype quiz on our website, they're going to see all 12 of those journeys on there. Now, they all feed together. So you have the inner journeys, the outer growth journeys, and then the impact, the legacy. Okay. So when we're looking at the growth journeys and we talk about uncertainty, and a lot of people are afraid of uncertainty. They don't like not to know. The brain doesn't like not to know what's going to happen next. So when it comes to prediction, which means before words, the brain plays it out and says, this is what's going to happen. Let's not do that. Right. Or let's do it. And so in uncertainty, what that says is, no, everything is possible. Everything is available. Everything's could be created. Abundance says everything you need to create that possibility is already there. It just 100%. Needs to be transformed, right?
100% true.
Yeah. And so, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump in. Please.
No, you're good.
Well,
I'm good.
What?
I'll ramble.
Not that I don't have a semantic problem with uncertainty, but what if what you're saying is a certainty?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you, when your identified egoic mind, your little self goes, what's in there? I have no idea. But if you're seeing behind the veil and everything that you need is arising from your own nature, then wouldn't it be a certainty that you have the knowledge and understanding to go where you need to go?
Yeah, beautiful.
Now the trick is to not invent it, but to reveal it or allow it in yourself.
Okay, cool. Our journey of surrender.
Okay, surrender is your word. Beautifully said.
Yeah, our journey of surrender is to render over to the way. Steve Jobs says you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only do that looking backwards. So you have to allow it to reveal itself. But it doesn't come by not doing. So if you look at the journey of nurture, we named our company Mandelbrot after the mathematician because he created this equation that was so simple. It was a small, simple equation added into itself and recalculated. It creates the complexity of life. You see it in river systems, in neural networks. You see it in computer systems, in office and business structures, in the universe. It's everywhere. It's the fractal nature of the universe. But it's created by the small and simple self-similar patterns repeated that create that complexity. So there's not doing. There's just that any doing becomes flow that allows the energy to flow in the direction it needs to for your vision, whatever that is, to come to reality. Do you agree or disagree?
100% agree. Maybe I have a semantic twist on that.
Yeah,
please. If you'll pardon me,
pardon.
It's like, it's not doing, or which one is doing, the manufactured self or the one that gives rise to all of that. So here's what I find. If this identified mind has a limit in it, and I look beyond it to find that there is no actual limit, then a new set of possibilities arises in me, and they contain the impulse for action already within them. Yes, no, Craig, you're full of shit.
No, Craig, you're not full of shit. Ryan, thoughts? I want to lean on you on this one.
No, I was actually thinking about the book and when you just you wake up to the possibility and you see things differently, there is this desire.
Don't you want it?
Yeah, you see it, you want it, you might not know exactly how to proceed, which is exactly what happened in the book. Is that the giant put, there you go, right there.
Great illustration. Love that.
Remy and Rit.
Thank you.
And he puts him up on his shoulder, stands up. Yeah. But then there's this moment where it's so new. I just had this recently where I saw these new possibilities. I saw myself as a giant, like the biggest giant that I've ever felt in my life. And it was so new for me that it was almost scary. I told Nick that I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, I just did that. And I'm like, that feels unfamiliar. That feels scary. What do I do from here? How do I move to the next step? And it kind of was like, oh, there was this moment of wanting to like retreat back into the comfort of
Hell
almost,
yes.
not knowing, and like, wait a sec, but you can't, like, as Nick says all the time, you can't put the popcorn seed back inside itself once it's popped.
Right.
And
And
so
doesn't
there'll
it,
be this,
it wants its own action too, or right? Or that's what I find. And I call that like that primal elemental desire that's born in you. When you get clear with who you are, it wants out. Do you
yep,
find the same? Yeah.
yeah. And then it's okay in a matter of knowing what to do and where to go from that point, but you want to do something different.
I call that nonlinear unfoldment. Do you have a second for
Yeah,
Yeah.
me to tell
please.
you?
Yeah, do it.
Nonlinear unfolding.
Yes, I do.
Oh, he's like, good night, sir.
Yes, we have it.
Have I, I'm not putting you to sleep already, am I? It's early in the morning.
Oh no.
So I have the title of my book is called What Hurts? Cowboy Boots and the Principle of Subtraction.
Hmm.
Cowboy boots is something that let me tell you a quick story. I was living on a ranch in Northern California, and I only had regular guy, city guy boots. And
Regular guy boots.
I had to go buy ranch boots. Well, when I bought the boots, my damn fancy denim would not go over the top of my cowboy boots. So then I had to buy jeans that fit over my boots. Well, lo and behold, the sun at this altitude, super hot. I start burning my arms. I start realizing I need a pearl snap shirt that's light cotton to cover my arms. Well, guess what's left? My bald head. Now I got to buy a straw hat.
Yeah.
So here I am looking like a cowboy, but I went backwards
Huh.
from the boots up. Well, guess what happened after this, guys? I started dreaming about horses.
Hmm.
After I look like a cowboy, start dreaming about horses. I call my dad. I'm like, what the hell? He goes, well, your great granddaddy was a horseman. I knew nothing about this.
Wow.
So I'm trying to speak to this non-linear. It's like, I don't know what, but if you can wait on it, I did not say not do anything at all, but if you can investigate, it will bring you most likely in a very non-linear way, the how will arise naturally.
Hmm. Let's I don't want to say dummy it down, but let's shrink it. Okay.
Sure.
That let's say I'm 7, 8 years old and I want to understand this. This whole concept of who I am and what I was programmed to be and how do I change that? Because I love big words. I love etymology and all the science and the research behind it.
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah, weird. I love AI. Like I use AI to develop tools and I can dive deep with that. But
Mm-hmm.
what about somebody that's just beginning and all of this language? I'll tell you this. I'm going to preface it here.
Please.
When I wrote The Giants and the Smalls in the original manuscript, when Rit climbed the giant, so I'll show you this image here. He goes to the land of the giants. He climbs the giant. He
Yeah.
gets up on his shoulder
Yeah.
and he yells at the giant, Mr. Giant. And the giant says, who was that? And the sound is so immense and so big that it can't fit in Rit's ears. That's not in the new book, but it was in the original manuscript. He couldn't understand the giant. He was speaking such big language that to him, he wasn't understanding it. And as he slowed down and he continued to ask, the giant's words started to enter his ears to where he could understand the giant. The giant spoke at his level, and then they started communicating. Now, it's a little bit shortened in the new version of the book, but that's an essential thing is that for many of us, if we're starting this journey, some of these words get in the way of our learning. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Non-linear defamation.
Unfoldment.
Yeah. So
Okay.
how do you explain it?
Jen, I have a client here that's following along, and she just
Yeah.
sent a text. She said, "One step done well."
Hmm.
In other words, the way to do this, it's like, look, if I come to you and I'm asking you for help, most likely I'm going to have something that hurts. I'm trying to get over here to this thing, and there's going to be something in the way.
Yeah.
If I can investigate that and break it apart and soothe it for a little bit to get quiet, then a kind of a new voice, a new awareness, a new fearlessness, a new willingness kind of starts to arise in me, and
Mm.
it will provide the next right step. But if I look at it like the whole thing and try to invent how to get there, then I'm not allowing for a fresh new path to arise.
Mm.
Einstein said it, the consciousness that got you here won't get you further up. You got to change your thinking. April says, what hurts? That's a good way. So it's
Yeah.
like, what if we strip it down and make it small? It's finding a newer voice inside of myself and doing one thing well at a time.
Beautiful.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I had a client I was speaking with the other day.
yeah,
We did a discovery call together, and she came to me. She's like, I don't even know what to talk about. And I said, well,
yeah,
what's your struggle? Right? What's
yeah,
your pain point right now? And she
yeah.
said, well, I took on a position, and that new position isn't really my ideal. And I didn't know it until I got into it, because when I got into it, there were all these new rules and things I had to do. I had to cold call these clients, and I don't want to do that. And so instead of looking at the symptoms, which is, I don't want to do that, this is
Mhm,
uncomfortable, we
mhm,
dove into, who are you that's doing that? And in that, there was an awakening in her of, oh, I'm going to be here. She's not leaving that position for 6 months at least. So
mhm.
she went from, I hate this position, I don't want to do this. And the person on the other side of the call is experiencing that energy to, oh, I'm generating all that.
Yeah,
To, oh, it's my perception of how this position is that's creating that energy that they're feeling, that's now making this hard, that confirms that I hate this.
yeah.
And so we stuck with that for a minute and really went into deep diving on, who do you want to be? Let's create that. And she shifted from despair to hope in 20 minutes. We spent 20 minutes together, and she went from complete despair of this position to excitement about what she was going to create in this position. And she still
Love
may
that.
change, right? But that's what you're speaking to right there, is turning around that inner story, right?
Totally. And it gives rise to a new impetus. And
Yeah.
if we can keep from taking, I'm not trying to get to the moon. I'm just like trying to take one step. And
Mm.
Hugh Jacobson just texted, it's not about doing the next right thing. Just do something and let it become the right thing. When that
Mm.
inner voice that you're talking about, Nick, changes, the do something becomes the next right thing. Well
Right.
said, Hugh.
Right. And that's it. That's what we're talking about here. Who you think you are, that identity
Yeah.
that doesn't line up with the inner world that you really know you have, and your outer
Hmm.
world's not lining up with, you're worth more and you can do more.
Hmm.
Well, that inner world can rewrite the outer world so that they are identical. But there's a belief system in there that's conflicting, this dissonance of, I know, but I can't create that out here. How do you
Right.
advise people to align their inner world with their outer world? How do you advise them to, outside of just taking small steps, how do they know that that step has a high likelihood of creating that outer world that would align with their inner world? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Okay.
Um, the way that I do this with my clients is, you can tell the difference between sort of true, we learn to tell the difference between true self and a false voice
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
When you act from true self, what it gives rise to is so many possibilities. It's alive what happens in your world as a result of being true to the deeper parts of yourself. So I don't, we can align. That's not quite how I speak to it. It's pretty clear when you step into this other place in your being, it's like the result is like, oh my God, that's the easiest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
In terms of the worldly expression, it's like the money comes in or the relationship changes. I mean, you can see it, is
Hmm.
my answer.
Yeah. So there's an alignment. There's a real alignment. So here's where people get stuck is they think, well, it's not aligning. My outer world isn't aligning with my vision of my inner world. And,
Okay.
and no matter what I do, I keep doing this and I've tried this and I've done that and everything seems to fail.
Right.
And what I reference back to is the acorn and the oak tree. The oak tree lays 10,000 seeds a year and only one takes.
Right.
Edison found 5,000, 10,000 ways that didn't work. Dyson found 5,000 vacuums that didn't suck. Right.
Right.
And so when it comes to creation, we are going to have a substantially larger amount of failures than we do successes. And the word failure defined as a negative yield from your efforts, not failure the way society defines it, is just what you did didn't work. So what else can you do? Right. So we might have 10 to 1 or 10,000 to 1 successes, and 10,000 to 1 failures. But that one success that we have, you think about the sun, it puts off over 600 megatons of energy every day or every second. It's like a crazy amount. Only a billionth hits the earth.
Yeah.
And that billionth creates all of life and everything that we see. So the successes outweigh the failures by a substantial amount. But failure seems to be the way. Do you agree, or do you have a differing view on that?
No, I mean, maybe this is a bigger conversation for another time, but it's like I'm with you. Are you
I
saying
just heard that Craig's coming back on the show at some point in time.
Yeah, that might
It's
be
like,
the case, right?
Can I just make sure I heard you right?
Yeah,
You're
I love
saying that
the way you listen.
the successes outweigh the failures, or the failures outweigh the successes?
You're going to have a high volume of failures, but when a success succeeds, when you get a positive yield from your efforts, the results of that positive yield will outweigh all of the failures.
That we're 100% aligned on that. This different the deeper elemental part of yourself, when you act from there, I'm telling you, shit springs up everywhere. And it becomes, and when you don't do that, nothing takes.
Yeah.
It's
Or you
trying.
find frustration and bumping your head into just that stuckness.
Yeah.
But that's just telling you, try something else. That stuckness, that frustration is a call that what you're doing isn't working. Let's try this.
100%. Here's what I would say. In my world, that means your attunement. It's like you need to take a look at your attunement. And I'm not saying don't fail. I'm just saying it's like, well, who did that? There's a learning. So for me, failures is all about prepare you for successes. To me, it's all the same damn thing, if I'm really telling you the flat out truth.
Yeah. It's all part of the same process, right?
Yeah, it's like the failure is the red flag. Hey, don't go here. And I'm like, well, thank you very much. Yeah. I have a different relationship to failure than I did 20 years ago.
Same.
Let's create this. So depression, Lisa Feldman Barrett says that we feel depressed when we're not living up to our own ideals. We feel anxious when we're not living up to the ideals of others. Okay. When we experience grief, it's that the pathways we used to go down are no longer available or accessible in time, space, or attachment. And so if you look at all of these as red flags, like you said, don't go here anymore. So depression says, hey, what you're doing isn't working. So you're not measuring up to the ideals you have for yourself. They're not working. Try something else. Anxiety says, hey, the measurements you think society has for you, they're not working. Try something else. Grief says the pathway that you're going down that used to be there that you no longer have access to isn't there anymore. You got to find another pathway. Try something else. But these are all failures. They're not negative things. We think of depression, anxiety, grief, all these heavy emotions as negative things. They're just red flags saying, hey, don't go here. Don't go there. This doesn't work anymore. Even anger as a forge Too much anger is going to burn everything up. But when you think of a forge, if you get the right amount of heat, it's going to meld those metals together so perfectly,
Empowerment.
right?
Empowerment.
Yeah. The right amount of anger tells you, hey, that pathway doesn't work. Let's burn that out of the system so we don't do that anymore. And the right amount of it will just put you in the right pathway so you don't repeat patterns that no longer serve you. Like there's no negative emotion if you think of it in that terms.
That you're preaching to the choir, brother. I'm
All right.
100% on board. So,
Amen.
it's like everything that arises in the self is useful. 100%
Oh, I
useful.
love that phrase. It's useful.
Mastery sees everything, not just some things. Mastery sees everything. It's what our relationship is to all that. That's what needs developing.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. I'll pause real quick before we get too far. Is your website the johncraiggore.com?
Yes, sir.
Is this your mug right here? Is that you?
That's me, dude.
I'm gonna post that up here so people can visit your website. So
Get it. Thanks.
yeah, we'll leave that up for a minute so that people know where to find you. Is that okay?
Of course. It
Yeah.
hadn't been, I'm getting ready to update that, but yeah, that's my website. And they can find me on Facebook. That I'm a fairly consistent presence there.
Cool. And they should. I love this, that your way of listening is that you're listening beyond just what's being expressed. You're listening from a state of really not only hearing that, but trying to understand, well, what do you mean when you say this, right? Am I hearing you?
Yeah, that's the base faculty that I'm trying to teach all my people to learn to listen from is understanding.
Yeah.
Learn to listen from understanding, which sounds really esoteric, and it is for another conversation.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm listening from. Is like, do I comprehend what you mean? Never mind what you said.
Yeah. Now to take that deeper, are you listening to yourself that same way?
It's the egoic mind is a temporary survival mechanism, but after a while it becomes a distortion, gentlemen. We have to wipe that off and listen to the greater portion of ourselves, which is where that's where we inhabit.
Yeah.
Egoic mind is like a form. It's a form, a temporary construct.
Front, right? Like a facade. It's like
it's a projection that life uses to teach you that there's something there hearing all that.
Yeah, this idea of if I listen to myself the way you listen to us, Craig, and I say to myself, well, what do I mean when I say this? Why do I say that? Where did that come from? Has that always been there? Is that true? Is that true for me? Is that where I want to keep going? Right?
Inquiry.
Inquiry.
Beautifully expressed.
Yeah.
And thank you for being so generous. I appreciate your generosity. I'm happy to listen to you. And I love inquiry, becoming so deeply respectful of the force of life that lives as you, to be able to witness everything. It's like the first thing that happens with my clients is I I make I insist they listen to everything that arises instead of them trying to go, this is good, this is bad, this isn't important.
The
I always
judgment.
do
Yeah.
that. Through the judgments is all this life. I mean, if people could just stop judging themselves so harshly, they would find how vast they are.
Or justifying themselves.
Right.
Holy crap. Same thing.
Same mechanism, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody and I said, are you going to school? And she says, no. And she goes, here's why. And she told me all the reasons. And I told this to Ryan once. He told me all these stories about these things that were going on in his life. I'm like, that's a great story. Here's the problem with it. It's just not true, and it's like, we tell our justifications so well that we convince others of our justifications and they back off and they say, yeah, I'm not going to challenge you. You're pretty well versed in what you need to do or could do as a possibility. And you've got all these reasons why not to do it. I'm going to let you be. Right.
Yeah.
But you step out of that justification and judgment and you really allow it to be there and accept that it's there. and
Yeah.
then step into, well, okay, that's there. Great. What do I want to do with it? This is where inquiry is so powerful. It was, put into my book here. It's in The Art of Accomplishment. Questions, right? There's a thing called the Zeigarnik effect that we don't like open loops. The brain hates open loops. So when you ask a question, it opens a loop and it wants to close that loop. So it's going to go out there and find the solution so it could close the loop and get back to being efficient. And so the questions you ask matter. So if you say, why am I such a loser? The brain's like, hell yeah, dude, let's close this loop.
Let me show you.
So in my
I got your
world,
back.
yeah, 100% that's true. In my world, I call the undoing of that,
Zeigarnik.
Zeigarnik.
becoming a question.
Mm.
Learning to live in your own internal world and not be so quick to conclude, but investigate needs to be a very long, open-ended, non-judgmental process.
Mm.
Trouble is we leap to conclusions, what you're saying, closing the loop, and all the data is not present. We have to
Right.
really look.
Yeah. I want to hit on the 12th journey, the legacy, which it hits from Legatia, the gift by will.
Yes, sir.
People confuse it with purpose. I had a buddy that built up a huge YouTube following, and then he got depressed because he no longer had a purpose. And the mistake there was that the definition of purpose as being singular, it's not. Purpose means to move forward, to pause, to rest. So you're going to have myriad, infinite purposes, but you're going to have a legacy, a gift that you leave with the world. That Pablo Picasso, I think he says the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. We could say a purpose of life is to give it away. Another purpose of that gift could be to serve others. Another purpose could be to create with it or bury it. Right?
Those are synonymous for me. I'm sorry, I stepped on your words.
Please do it. Please go. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's like legacy. Well, I'd like to hear your question, but for me, those are all the same things. I just wanted to say it's like give it away, give it to somebody, serve with it, create with it. Right. It's all purpose.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Okay.
So the question we often get is, well, how do I recognize what my unique gift and talent is? I'm not an NBA player, right? I'll never be an NBA player. I can't walk on the field and say, walk on. They're not going to take me. Right. Steve Chandler talks about that. But within the set of gifts that I have, I can do anything. I'll never be an NBA player personally. I'm not built for it. It's not in my DNA. I have no interest in it. What I do have an interest in is, how do I serve others? How do I write books that move people to recognize their potential? How do I create AI applications and programs that truly get people to change empirically versus all this philosophy and pseudoscience? That's a gift I have, right? Now, how do you define, or how do you discover or create that gift? How do you know that you're on your gift?
Well, that's a thing that's revealed through knowing myself intimately. So time and attention. And I don't say I have a purpose. I say I am purpose. I is the purpose.
I like that.
Now, once you realize that life wants out, it's like life's changed, gentlemen, everywhere I go. That's not an egoic statement. It is a recognition of the nature of life and living in truth, is that it has influence everywhere for those who choose to listen. So scripture says the truth either convicts or it enrages. To know Craig it's not lukewarm. You're on one side or the other with me, because I live according to the purpose inbuilt in me.
Yeah, I love that. Ryan, thoughts?
Yeah. It's again, it goes back to once you start to recognize that you are purpose, there can be a little bit of fear because it's new. It's something but it's also very familiar if you get still and quiet with it, because it's true. It's
yes,
true.
Sir.
Yeah.
Isn't it savory in the body? You feel that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yes, life changing, as Rebecca just said, this is absolutely life changing. From there, then you be purpose.
that's
You
it.
you be you. I am that I am.
That's it. I am that I am.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And you
And
are everything that follows I am,
100% true.
right?
So like I I'm not deeply familiar with your distinction between purpose and legacy, but to me, purpose has its own output. Like I'm
Mm.
very aware when I coach a client that I'm coaching the whole world around them and the generations beyond it. That to me is what you might call legacy, consciousness, or you might call non-consciousness. This self, if it's true, it it washes over the whole face
It
of
ripples,
what's
right?
invisible. Yeah, ripples is what Jen calls it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard that. I got hooked on these NDEs and watching those experiences, and there was a common theme in there, and it was the ripple. They would throw a stone or a rock in a body of water, and it would ripple
Uh-huh.
out, and that's what the meaning or the gift of life was. It was to give that as a gift to ripple out, and we have the option to ripple out in a positive way or a negative way. It's really up to us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so my goal is to ripple out positively with what we do in this work is to help people to wake up, not only wake up, but have a pathway to rewrite their story into the giant that they are, right? Because it's already in there. It's just we got to express it, but it's already there. So when we look at this ripple, that's what I mean by the gift is every one of us has a unique way of rippling out. Ryan will do it in his way. He does it through music and singing, and he inspires people through his singing and I do it through writing and creating programs, and you do it through writing and singing and creating programs and coaching, and the person watching is going to have their unique form of that, and that's the gift, that's the legacy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a thing to do, it's something to be. You don't
Mm.
you don't get it, you come from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There was something to share with that. It does come from you, it ripples from you. You are the stone and the water,
Yeah.
and the whole idea here is that we want to wake up, and that's why we have people like you on the show, is to not only wake up people to their giantness, but to show them as many possible ways of getting there as we could. We've
Yeah.
had over 330 guests on this show, like you.
Wow.
And so that means that every one of those is a possibility for somebody watching. They might learn from you, they might learn from somebody else, but our goal is to help inspire possibilities. And I don't care if you do it my way or not. Find a way. You've got a lot of clients on here. You're rippling out through them, they're going to ripple out through others. I think that's amazing.
Indeed. Indeed.
Any
Likewise.
anything you feel like we should have shared in this show that maybe we missed?
No, we just need another couple hours to get the whole sum total of the universe worked out. I'm ready.
Yeah. If we were to summarize though in the next little bit here, how would you wrap everything we've talked about up?
I would say here's the thing. It's like respect what is in within you, and turn towards yourself. You
Mm,
cannot lose if you turn towards yourself and investigate. No matter if it hurts or if it's positive or negative, all of that, step beyond that. Take the time to respect what is alive within you.
mm,
The rest will reveal itself naturally.
beautiful. Ryan, final thoughts here?
You this is I don't know why we haven't connected, a whole lot before. We're friends on Facebook, and that's kind of where it's been, and I've seen some of the content, but it wasn't the time, I guess. I don't know. But what we have done is because of the ripples, we share mutual ripples.
I love you back, buddy. I see
And
you. I see
and I'm
you.
and the gratitude for you for helping the other people that are in my world and that have come into my world because of your influence and your ripple. Uh, they're priceless. They're
Uh,
absolutely priceless.
you're a,
There's one.
you're a good man.
A Jen Walter is one. The hug I got to give Jen Walter. I just went back to Phoenix a couple weeks ago, and I got to give Steve Hardison a hug, and that was the first time I got to hug Jen Walter. Was at Steve Hardison's, and there's a little video clip of her and I running towards each other. She's leaping and screaming by his pool and running towards us, and we shared this epic hug. And you're a part of all of that. And so my love for you is equally as strong as my love for Jen Walter and people like Rebecca Holt and people like Hugh Jacobson and Lori Parks that's on here as well. The ripple is strong. Once you can understand who this is,
Amen, brother.
that gets to be just expressed naturally. And Nick talks about my talent. My talent is love. My talent is hugs, connection, seeing the best in everyone, usually before they see it in themselves, and then helping them to do so. And I just sitting here in gratitude, and I just want to thank you and tell you how much I love you, sir. Thank you.
Likewise. You're welcome, and thank you.
Love it. So I've learned a ton from
Tell
this.
hit me.
Yeah, well, it's just the idea that who we are as we've been living is really up to us. And if we'll slow down and really listen to that and what it's speaking into the world, we can see if we want to carry that forward or not. So
Amen.
it's in all of us, right?
Yeah.
And the gentleness around around there's my girlfriend right there. So
Oh, gorgeous.
yeah, so the gentleness around who that is where our power is. We don't have to judge that or justify that. We can just decide, okay, it is what it is. Let's move to something else and step into that. And like you putting on the clothes, the cowboy hat, the boots, the jeans, the shirt, the pearl button shirt, it's all put on anyway. Everything
Yeah.
you think you are was put on anyway.
That's a damn good looking cowboy.
Right? So
Oh,
why not choose it? All your
amen.
purpose, your gift, your direction, your identity, it's all chosen. We all get
I,
to choose it.
I say my life is for us. It's like, who am I not to be all of myself? I have
Yeah.
no right to not be all of myself.
And to share that with others.
Well,
That's
and
the gift.
because now I'm depriving you of all that I am, and I'm unique in
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
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 Well, I'm going to invite people to head over to your website, find that good looking mug right there. So make sure you go do that. Click on johncraiggore.com. Check out his work in your upcoming books as well. And then as well, make sure that you click on this QR code up here so that you can go get your archetype, your expression of where you're currently at. The beauty of this quiz is not to show you where you are permanently. It's just to show you where you are on the map right now. So there's always room for growth, and this will show you the areas that might need growth. And that's what our program helps you do. And so, Craig, I'm so grateful for you being here today. And we will have you on again. And for everybody that's watching, we are so grateful for you and your comments, for you sharing this out with the world. We could use your help with more subscribers on our YouTube channel. Once we break a certain point, then they open up that visibility to more and more people, and we get this message out there. We need your help. So go over to YouTube, subscribe on the Wake Up with Giants TV, and you'll find over 850 uploads there to support you in your Giants journey, and we keep adding more every day. And as always, come over to My 12 Journeys and check us out. Let us serve you deeply. And you guys go make it a giant day. We will see you in the next episode.
Love you too.